applying finite geometric sum. Example, a new mall shopping records 120 total shoppers on their first day of their business. Each after that, the number of shoppers is 10% more than the number of shoppers the day before. What is the number of shoppers that visited the mall in the first 7 days? Round your answer to the nearest integer. So now first of all, let's take here 120 means is a sub 1 is the first term, which is 120. And now common ratio. How we can find common ratio? It says the number of the shoppers increases for 10% each day. It was 100% whatever they were plus 10% extra. It means 110%. But if we want this to convert into the number, we divide 110% by 100%, and the common ratio R is equal to 1.1. So now common ratio is 1.1. So we already have 1.1. And now the formula for finite geometric sum S sub n is equal with, let me write here first the fraction for, is a1 times 1, the first term, times 1 minus the common ratio in exponent n, and everything divided by 1 minus common ratio. And now let's plug now the numerical values in the formula. And it means determines the how many terms there are. 7 is 7 days. So instead of n, I'm going to plug a 7. Whenever I have n, I plug in 7. And a1 is 120. We already have here 120. And this is equal with 1 minus 1.1 in exponent instead of n. I said is a 7 day in exponent 7, divided by everything divided by 1 minus r, which is 1 minus 1.1. And now s in exponent 7, I'm sorry, s in sub 7. Now let's do some calculation here. But to make this calculation, we need a calculator here. 1.1 in exponent 7 is equal with 1.94. And we subtract by 1 here, minus 1. We get to the value 9487, but it's a negative sign because it is 1 minus 1.1, and this is a greater than 1. So it's a negative sign. Time 120. We multiply by 120 and we get the value 113. But because this is a very closer to the integers, we have to round to the integers, and this is a negative 114. Let's say this is a negative 114. So I am rounding to the nearest integer. And 1 minus 1.1 is minus 0.1. Is minus 0.1. And now let's do this final calculation. And this number here, because I have original number what I had, I divided by 0.1, negative 1. It is a negative. And I get the result is 1138. 1138. So after the 7 day, there are going to visit the mall 1,100. Just let me make sure again to see this number. And 38. And 38 shoppers. So this is the final answer. And the shop for 7 days, if 120 total are visiting, and every time is a 10% more, for 7 days they are going to visit the mall 1,138 shoppers.